well. And then you're going to be hearing from the special agent in charge of the Denver field office, Steve Kagan. Afterwards, if you guys would like to interview any victims or witnesses, they will be here, but please be respectful. They do not want to be filmed and recorded. Please be respectful of that. And if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to email me. I'll be sticking around here. I can give you my contact information. We'll also be sending out a press release that should hit your inbox. If you don't receive it, please find me. We'll make sure you get it. And we'll be also distributing the remarks. And this is also being live streamed at HSI Denver. Thank you. This is a 2-minute warning. Are you guys all hearing the audio?
Yeah, sure. So they are about to start the press conference. Press conference is going to start. Just few details about when they can we are start while you will in there. Some of the press conference in the start. So yeah. Okay, they're coming.
Thank you, Acting United States Attorney Rule, Special Agent in charge of HSI's Denver field office, Steve Kagan, and everyone for being here. My name is Matthew Gagliotti. I'm the head of the Department of Justice's Criminal Division. Today, the department secured the conviction of Michael Sang Correa on multiple counts of torture and 1 count of conspiracy to commit torture. This verdict underscores the Justice Department's determination to protect victims and prevent perpetrators of torture and other heinous crimes and human rights violations abroad from seeking a new life here in America. You cannot hide here. We can and will prosecute you if you come to the United States after committing atrocities abroad. This country will not be a safe haven for human rights violators. At the outset, I want to express my admiration and gratitude for the strength and the courage of the victim witnesses who traveled all the way from Africa to a courtroom in Denver, Colorado to tell the jury what Correa did and what he and his co-conspirators set out to do. Reliving those horrific crimes and facing their tormentor in person, again, takes tremendous bravery. It must have been painful and difficult. We thank them for enduring this ordeal in the interests of justice. I also want to express my appreciation and commend the prosecutors from the Criminal Division's Human Rights and Special Prosecution Section, Assistant United States Attorneys from the District of Colorado, and agents from Homeland Security Investigations for relentlessly pursuing this case and ensuring that justice was done. The evidence presented at trial exposed the depravity of the torture Correa and his co-conspirators engaged in 2006, prior to Correa's arrival in the United States, where he sought to escape accountability for his crimes, hiding here in Colorado. The government's evidence showed that Correa, along with his co-conspirators, tortured and abused victims accused of plotting a coup against the regime then in power in the Gambia, West African country that at the time was under the regime of President Yahya Jammeh. Correa belonged to a special unit of the president's security forces known as the Junglers, who brutally cracked down on what the regime claimed was a coup plot. Trial testimony revealed the direct role Correa played in that torture. With the intent to cause severe pain and suffering, Correa and his co-conspirators dripped hot, molten plastic onto the bare skin of one of their victims. They put plastic bags over their victim's head, restricting breathing. One of Correa's co-conspirators put the barrel of a pistol into the mouth of a victim. They threatened victims with knives and stabbed one of them. They electrocuted their victims. And they extinguished cigarettes on their skin, rubbed sand in their eyes. And they hit one victim in the face with a hammer. The torture went on. There was virtually no bounds to their cruelty. But just as there were no bounds to their cruelty, there are no bounds on how far this Justice Department will go to hold people who commit such brutality to account. People who have committed violent crimes, let alone human rights abuses, should not come to the United States, period. They are not entitled to live the American dream. They belong in prison. The core policy objective of the Justice Department is to secure our communities against criminal aliens, and today's conviction of Correa is one more step taken in that direction. Wherever we have jurisdiction, the Justice Department will prosecute persons who have committed atrocities abroad under the federal criminal statutes prescribing torture, war crimes, genocide, and the recruitment and use of child soldiers, among other criminal charges. The Department can also use our criminal and civil immigration and naturalization laws to revoke U.S. citizenship or obtain other penalties. My thanks go to the Department's prosecutors, paralegals, historians, analysts, and others who have worked on the Correa case with impressive determination and skill. They did so while always putting the victims first, which is one of the Department's core principles. Correa's conviction is the third time in which a defendant has been found guilty of torture in federal court, and it won't be the last. Today's verdict is a demonstration of our commitment to leave no stone unturned to prosecute human rights violations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gagliotti. Mr. Kagan. Michael Sang Correa made a huge mistake coming to Colorado. He thought that he could escape accountability for the vile acts of torture that he committed in the Gambia in 2006 while working as a member of a military organization known as the Junglers, forcing confessions of treason from enemies of then President Jammeh. He thought that his crimes against his fellow Gambians would be forgotten. But Colorado is not a safe haven for torturers. It's not a refuge for sadists, and it is not a home for those who flee justice. Justice will not forget Michael Correa's acts, nor will Colorado harbor anyone who attacks another's dignity through such acts of barbarism. I want to thank the courageous victims and witnesses who traveled halfway across the world to tell their story, to tell the story of others who suffered at the hands of Mr. Correa and the Junglers. Thank you. I want to thank the jury of everyday Coloradans who listened to the evidence. Evidence that was at times painful to hear, and who rendered their verdict based on that evidence and the governing law presented to them. They have done a great service to the state of Colorado and to the world by offering their time and attention to such an important matter. I want to thank the trial team of Melissa Heineman and Laura Kramer-Babbage, from our own U.S. Attorney's Office here in Colorado, Christina Giffen, Marie Ziza, of DOJ's Human Rights and Special Prosecutions Section, for your tireless work on this case. Thank you. And finally, I want to thank our agency partners who helped with the investigation of this case. In particular, the Office of Homeland Security Investigations. This case, one of a first of its kind, is years in the making. And HSI's dedication to the investigation of Mr. Correa is worthy of praise. Today, those years of hard work led to 12 jurors finding Michael Correa guilty of conspiring to engage in torture and of torturing 5 of his fellow Gambians. At the end of the day, that guilty verdict is a rebuke of the rule of the junglers and a resounding affirmation of the rule of law for the people of the Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to really kind of foot stomp what both of these two gentlemen have said, which is this is a precedent-setting case. And a precedent-setting case that we are honored to be involved with. I also want to point out that this is a full-of-government approach. Men and women of Homeland Security Investigations, the HSI, Human Rights Violators, the War Crime Center, our partners with the FBI, the Diplomatic Security Service for their work overseas, the DOJ, Human Rights Special Prosecution Section, the Colorado U.S. Attorney's Office. But like the others, I want to say the most important thing about this case is the courage of the victims and the witnesses that came forward, because without them, we would have nothing. And really, this case, it speaks for itself. So the only thing that I want to say is, if you commit these atrocities in your country, don't come to the United States and seek refuge. Because the men and women of HSI will hunt you down. We will find you, and we will bring you to justice. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our press conference. Anyone has additional questions, feel free to email me. We did issue the press release moments ago. And again, please be respectful of the witnesses. Something they want to.
So yeah, that is the end of the press conference.